Hey, all, day after the election here in 2016, and quite an election it was, I have context as a person who's been through elections now many times. I have perspective that can help me understand and put context around what happened last night as Donald Trump takes the White House. And I think that it would be good for you all as learners to reflect a little bit of that perspective. So I want to share with you just four things that I think might help as learners, as you're experiencing for the first time in your sort of quasi-adult lives, a major US presidential election. Okay, point number one, democracy is messy. Woo, that was messy, wasn't it? That's crazy. But democracy itself is messy. The value, though, is in the messiness. It's hard to understand. But when you bring multiple cultures and values and voices and people all together into one nation, one shared government, you're going to get a lot of messiness. You're going to get a lot of conflicting perspectives. That messiness is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's what helps hold us together as a nation because everyone in this nation has a sense that at some point their voice is listened to, their culture is promoted. Okay, so maybe last night with the Trump election, you feel, hey, yes, finally, my culture is being promoted. Okay, maybe before that you felt much more aligned to Obama. Okay, fine. You can find cultures, you can find your place in society because of the messiness. And that's a good thing. So don't be scared of the messiness as elections roll out into the future, okay? Number two, your voice matters a lot in these elections. It's not just some like hyperbole, some slogan that gets thrown around, your voice matters a lot. No, legitimately, democracy only works well if everyone is willing to contribute their voice to the process. All right, so for you all as learners, watching all of this happen, and some of you will be voting already or voting soon, you really, really need to understand that you matter in this process a lot. The whole point of the messy democracy is to give you a voice. If you don't use that voice, then it's pretty hard to complain about the results of any particular democratic effort. You must use your voice as citizens in our democracy. Point number three is campaign behavior is not an accurate reflection of real life behavior. What it takes to get elected in various elections pushes people to the edge of what we find tolerable as a society. They're trying to get on the news. They're trying to make statements that get people angry. They're trying to use fear as a weapon. Okay, that happens in elections, in campaigns, but that does not justify it in our normal everyday interactions in society. So, maybe you felt like Clinton was way too secretive, and maybe you felt like Trump was too harassing or too bullying in his behavior. All of that is going to happen in the context of an election. It is not okay to happen in the context of everyday life or of your particular school relationships here at STEAM or any other school. Secondly, on just this point of campaigns do not reflect reality, what gets said during a campaign is rarely reflective of what actually gets done in policy later on. So it's been said that there's going to be a wall in Mexico. Extremely highly unlikely, for instance. Extremely highly unlikely. Very, very rarely does policy actually reflect what gets said during the campaigns. That's a thing that, having seen lots of elections, I feel very confident saying. For you that's not seen lots of elections, it's hard to know that. But take solace if you are worried about some potential policies that rarely do those things come into existence. We have checks and balances in government for those very reasons. Our democracy holds because we have those checks and balances. All right, fourth, last big point. Fear is prevalent in our society right now. It was part of the campaigns on both sides. Both sides used fear as a way to try to get votes. I highly dislike that. I think it has left a bad taste in everyone's mouth in the country, that we as a people are making choices more about what we're scared of than what we're hopeful for. And let me just say, having seen many elections, that's not how life usually goes. Fear took too big of a central role this year, and that we as a people are not a fearful people. We as a people are not a people that are scared of difference, that are scared of others, that are worried about the color of skin of our neighbor or the who's taking my job. We as a people, as Americans, are a hopeful people. We have a difficult and long history as a people. We have made many mistakes over time. But over time, we have moved toward hope over time. I have extremely high confidence that we as a people will continue to move toward hope. That you as learners should take away not that fear is a weapon to move you ahead in life. You should take away that hopefulness, progressivism, trying to make society a better place, trying to look out for the interests of your neighbor, understanding that when your neighbor succeeds, you also succeed. Those are the core values that we as Americans have held in my experience. I fully expect those to continue to be our core values over time. So one election night, one election might give us a bit of pause. But be hopeful about your country. Be hopeful about the difference that you can make in your country. And be hopeful for yourselves. You have beautiful and awesome lives ahead of you that I can't wait to see unfold. Be hopeful. Be proud of your country. And vote.